Oh, shoot. Oh,
Came right out of the city. Just like this guy's greatest
Okay,
quarter
we-
miler ever came out of Michigan.
Good morning. I'm Charlotte Jones, co-host of the John Telford Detroit Show, coming to you every Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock on WJZZ Cool TV. Also streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
You're on it.
Dr. John Telford is a former Detroit Public Schools superintendent, a former world-class athlete, conqueror of Olympic champions, a championship track coach, poet, newspaper columnist, a longtime civil rights crusader, and author of 7 books: Creative Insubordination, What Old Men Know, The Will Robinson Story, The Poetic Prancings of Mad John, The Poet Emperor of Earth, and his explosive autobiography, A Life on the Run. Plus, another upcoming poetry book, Athletes, Activism, and Apple Boughs, a Detroit poetic epic. His books are available on Amazon.com or by calling 313-460-8272. That's 313-460-8272. Dr. Telford has been called a legend and also a lightning rod for controversy, a recipient of the City Council Spirit of Detroit Award and the Joe Louis Foundation Spirit of the Champ Award. He was named Wayne State University's Alumnus of the Year, and a Detroit track is named for him. His email is drjohnttelfordedd@aol.com. That's dr.johntelfordedd@aol.com. Dr. Telford also has a show on WCHB AM 1340 that airs on Saturdays at 9:30 in the morning and Mondays at 6:30 in the evening. That's on WCHB AM 1340, Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and Mondays at 6:30 p.m. And now, without further ado, I present to you that old native Detroiter, the one and only Dr. John Telford.
Thank you, Char J., also known as Charlotte Jones, author of A Ain't Always for Apple. A Ain't Always for Apple.
Volumes 1 and 2.
Volumes 1 and 2. This is volume 1.
No,
No,
that's
volume 2.
2.
Volume 2. An erotic adult alphabet book. Erotic adult alphabet book. Okay, my name is Detroit. I'm a blue-collar town. Blue salt melts my mid-March snow. Speedy cars and sprinters spring from me. I father fierce fighters and funky music. In a Motown moment, I can spit the blues right back in a bureaucrat's eye. Have you never seen blue salt? No complex chemistry here, only the old color of a new sky. And there's a new sky dawning on Detroit today because we have the greatest quarter miler who ever came out of the city of Detroit and whoever came out of the state of Michigan sitting right across from me, Darnell Hall. And we are going to be interviewing Darnell Hall just after I make a couple of other announcements that I have to make obligatorily. And you know, the lady who's supposed to be taking care of Isidore Baker, who lost all his belongings in an apartment fire. The only thing he rescued was a clothes on his back and his cell phone and cord. The lady's supposed to be taking care of him. The case manager, Claudia Sanford. I've been trying to reach you, Claudia. So I'm going to be giving Isidore your number pretty quick if you don't call him. His phone number is 248-445-9347. That's Isidore Baker, 248-445-9347. And I know some of you preachers are listening to me both on this show and on WCHB. So if you want to help Isidore, be my guest. You can help him too. He's got to get a Social Security card. Right now he's a non-person. 248-445-9347 is the phone number of Isidore Baker. Okay? Okay. All right. We have in the studio today this great quarter miler who is the only Michigan runner come out of the state of Michigan in history who ever ran the quarter mile under 45 seconds. So, Darnell, welcome to the John Telford Show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Man, I'm so honored to have you. You know, this guy, I used to be the fastest quarter miler that ever came out of Michigan. That was in the 1950s. I was the first one under 47. And then Darnell Hall, Dion Hogan went under 46. And then I am honored to sit here and state that we have got Darnell Hall, who actually went under 45. And that was back in the 1990s. And he's still the fastest quarter miler that ever came out of the state of Michigan because no one has ever run faster than he ran. So, we followed your fabulous quarter miling career in the 1990s. Tell us about yourself. What are you doing these days?
I'm 23, going on 24 years, Detroit police officer.
Wow.
I'm the co-head coach of Detroit Renaissance track and field program. I'm the founder of Track Life University, which is the #1 track program in the country.
Track Life University.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
It's a program that comes from the Detroit Police Athletic League when I started on the job and started a youth program at PAL.
Oh, yeah.
Police Athletic League here in the city. And it's just a spin-off of when I was at PAL. I'm no longer at PAL no more.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Oh.
So when I left PAL, I started it was time for me to really put my name and my family first. So
Sure.
Called Track Life University. So we just was awarded this 2 weeks ago at the Junior Olympic Games. We were just awarded the 2022 AAU Club of the Year.
Wow.
And it was something that wasn't given. We earned it. We had 5 outgoing seniors. As a matter of fact, the last one going to school today. Power 5, Division I scholarships coming out of the city of Detroit.
All right.
Yeah,
All
so,
right.
We have 51. We had the most participants at this year's Junior Olympic Games in Greensboro, North Carolina. Out of the city of Detroit, 110 kids participated in the Junior Olympics. 51 came home with medals.
Oh, that is so impressive. That is, yeah. And I'm glad that you're keeping the sport of track alive in the city. They're going to put I'm hoping that they're going to put a track over at Chandler Park in that dome stadium.
Yes.
That they're building over there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the mayor announced that there was going to be a $12.6 million domed field house over at Chandler Park, and maybe you could use your voice too. You know, if Darnell Hall, calls the mayor, we've got to get them to put a 200-meter track in there. That's what I'm trying to get them to do, in stands, grandstands, bleachers, so that we can have age group track, high school track, intercollegiate track, and post-collegiate track right here in the city. Yeah, we have not had a field house in Detroit. I mean, they got one in Macomb County,
Yeah.
but we don't have one. We should. A city the size of Detroit, we should have that. But this is a question that I wanted to ask you, because in the 1920s, John Lewis was the first quarter miler to come out of the state of Michigan to run the quarter mile under 49 seconds. Mm-hmm. And John Lewis later became a recreation superintendent, and he came out of Wayne State. It was called City College of Detroit then. But he came out of Wayne State. And in the 1940s, my mentor, Robert Wingo, who also was a Wayne State runner, was the first to run it under 48 seconds. And that was in the 1940s. And in the 1950s, I was the first to run it under 47 seconds. And in the 1980s, Dion Hogan was the first to run it under 46 seconds. And then in the 1990s, you were the first, and so far the only, sprinter to ever run the quarter under 45 seconds. Now let me ask you this. How soon do you think we'll see someone from our state run it under 44?
Real soon. I just witnessed a young man that I admire. His name is Shamar Hurd.
Shamar Hurd.
Out of Chippewa Valley. Just went 46.04.
How old?
He's actually an incoming junior.
Incoming?
He'll be a junior this school season.
High school?
Yes, high school.
And
so he has a lot of
say
potential.
that time again.
He just ran 46.04, I think.
400 meters or 440?
400.
400
meters, and that would be the fastest high school time.
That's incredible.
He broke my record, but
He broke your record.
if anybody I would lose it to, would be him. He's a great kid, got from a great program. I love his the club he's from in high school, but he's a great kid. To watch him, and
He's running in Chippewa Valley?
yeah, he's at Chippewa Valley. So
Okay.
I'm actually, when next time I see him, I'm gonna make sure I get a picture of him.
What, say his name again?
Shamar Hurd,
Shamar. I wonder if he's related to
Yeah,
Homer Hurd.
probably so.
Homer ran 9.4 at Wayne State.
Yeah, he won the
100.
Division I 200 meters this year.
How fast he run the 200? What did he run?
21 low 21.
Yeah, low 21s.
Low
Yeah.
21s.
It sounds like he's got potential to go that fast.
Yeah, he's a good kid though. He got some speed to him.
Okay, well, listen. I want you to comment on the quality of track competition in our state today at the age group, high school, intercollegiate, and post-collegiate levels. Just talk a little bit about where it's at and where you think it's going.
Well, for one, the youth level, that's where it's starting at here. A lot of us are doing a great job on the youth level, developing track and field. Track clubs are really booming. Myself and my wife, and my wife Karen Hall and Reginald Osborne, we was voted in to build youth track and field, and I think we did a good job for almost 20 years, being the head of AAU track and field. Track clubs are really, really big. Track Life, Motor City Track Club, Blazers Track, Michigan Accelerators, and some of the other local track programs. On the high school level, we will do a lot better. COVID really slowed us down, especially DPS state.
Yeah.
But we'll get back to where we need to be. Just you got to crawl. We starting all over. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, well, starting all over. I go way back, way before you, way before just about everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But in my day, we had guys who could fly.
Yeah.
And even just after my day, we had Henry Carr.
Mm-hmm.
Henry Carr was probably, in my view, probably the fastest human being who ever walked on 2 feet. That's my opinion. I think he'd have outrun Usain Bolt on a rubber track. Because a lot of people don't realize this. And I saw this. I witnessed it. Henry Carr, over at Redford High School one day, when he was a senior at Northwestern High School, ran 220 yards on a dirt track in 20 seconds flat. That tied the world record.
Yeah.
There's only one other sprinter ever did that. Did it at 100 yards.
Yeah.
Cleveland East Tech. You know who that was?
Mm-hmm.
That was Jesse Owens. So you got two guys, Jesse Owens and Henry Carr, tied the world record in high school. And I could talk a lot about those days because we had the Detroit Track Club. I was one of the co-founders of that club, and we're talking about you, not me. But I just want to remember. I want everybody to remember that not only did Darnell Hall come out of this city, Henry Carr came out of this city. Eddie Tolan came out of this city, Olympic 100 and 200 meter champion in 1932. He was my gym teacher. In fact, he's the first guy who ever timed me for anything. He timed me in 5.8 one time for 50 yards, which wasn't bad for a 12-year-old kid. But well, we can talk more about that. So, what do you think it's going to take to bring track in the state of Michigan back to its 1964 heyday? Because in 1964, now you got a gold medal. What was it, 1992?
Correct. 30 years ago.
Yeah, 1992. Well, we had 3 individual gold medalists in 1964 right out of this state. And that was Henry Carr, of course, who also ran on the relay. And he had a 44-something on the relay back in 1964 on a dirt track. And we had, who else did we have? We had Hayes Jones, who was with me on the U.S. team in the non-Olympic year in Europe, who was the Olympic high hurdles champion in 1964. And he also got bronze in 60. And we had the kid from Farmington, Rex Cawley from. So we had 3 individual gold medalists out of the state of Michigan. How many have we had since? Not any that I'm aware of.
Well, Taylor Manson I think she did something in the World Championships last year. Well, she made the Olympics.
I'm talking about Olympics.
She won a gold medal. I mean, she won a medal in the Olympics last year. Taylor Manson out of Lansing.
At what distance?
It was the 400 mixed relay.
Oh, they got mixed relays.
Yeah, they have mixed relays now.
Yeah, all this newfangled stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an old curmudgeon, but okay. Researcher Jim Moyes. I called him Bill, but it was Jim. Researcher, and he's a statistician too. Jim Moyes recently rated. Are we ready for a commercial?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll say that.
You're watching WJZZ Cool TV, live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Like us, follow us, share us, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. Also, the Senior Expo and Health Fair Wellness Rocks is Saturday, August 27th. From 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. There will be live entertainment. It's at the Ernest T. Ford Recreation Center at 10 Pickens Street in Highland Park. It's a free event.
Thank you, Charlotte Jones, author of A Ain't Always for Apple, an erotic adult alphabet book. And as I was about to say, researcher statistician Jim Moyes recently rated the #1 athlete to come out of a Michigan high school in every track event, and then the 2nd through 10th best athletes in alphabetical order. And he rated this man sitting right here across from me #1 in the quarter mile, Darnell Hall. He rated Darnell Hall #1 in the quarter mile, and me in the top 10. Darnell, in your estimation, how much faster per quarter mile at elite level pace is the modern rubberized composition track as compared to the old dirt and cinder track?
I mean, it's a big difference. I mean, y'all 440. We just flat out meters, so it's a big difference.
Yeah, I'm talking about the difference between rubber and dirt.
Rubber's faster. It's harder.
You know how much faster?
I mean, you gotta just break it down between the meters, between the yards and meters.
Okay, so if I was running a 46 quarter mile on dirt, which I did, how fast would that have been on rubber?
Probably 45.
1 second?
Yeah.
You know, they've done a study that said 1.8 tenths of a second.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah, which would have put me at 44.2
Correct.
for 440 yards.
Maybe.
Yeah, I know. Everything is speculative.
Maybe.
Everything.
Yeah.
Actually, that wasn't my fastest quarter either. I did in a handicap race. I had a 45.9 one time in Williamsville, New York. But you know, who would have won? You or me? Probably you, huh?
I heard you say, what, second loser or something?
Yeah. That's what I said.
So I'd have got the silver if I was racing you.
Yeah.
Probably so. I ain't
you
gonna.
would have.
And statistically, they say that the silver medal winner is more upset that he came in second than the bronze medal winner is
let me
that he came in third, because at least they medaled. So you would have been truly disappointed.
Yeah, well, I was always disappointed when I lost. But you know, this is supposed to be a poetry program. So I got it. This is a poem that I wrote for the Downtown Monitor on Thursday, July 27th, 2022, in the Poets Corner. And the title of this poem is the 1957 NCAA 440 final, a 65-year reflective. 65 years. We hadn't enough. I gotta say this poem. We hadn't enough space to run a reasoned race. 8 headlong quarter horses humored, no such thing as pace. If that race could be erased and galloped once again, I'd start my home stretch run when the starter shot the gun. You know, I finished second in a near dead heat with a guy who had won the Olympics the previous year. That was my biggest rival. That was Charlie Jenkins. Yeah. But I was second because there was a guy who was in an inside lane, who was the NAIA champion, Bob McMurray from Morgan State, and he had built up a lead on us. When we got into the home stretch, both Charlie and I were behind this guy by about 5-6 yards. Where'd he come from? You know, so we both made a rush at him, and I almost caught him. I broke the tape with my neck, but necks didn't count in those days. They changed the rules about that, but. You know what I wrote on here is as celebrated sports writer Haywood Brown once opined of French champion Georges Carpentier, who had temporarily rocked world heavyweight champion Jack Dempsey in the second round. Life's tragedy isn't that a man loses, but that he almost wins. Okay. So you're working with some DPSCD runners now. And you're not working with Police Athletic League anymore.
No, that's not in my assignment. No.
So talk a little bit about DPSCD. Now you're at Renaissance, you said?
Correct, Detroit Renaissance.
So what you got over there in terms of talent?
The world.
Really?
I just graduated 5 of the fastest girls it was in the country.
Girls.
Yes.
How about the young men?
We building that. We had 2 or 3 that made the state finals.
Okay.
Who did real well. We got an incoming class, freshman classes. Actually just won a 4x8 in the nation, number 1 in the nation.
Half milers.
Yeah, so we have middle distance kids that's just coming in right now, getting ready to cross country on the boys' side. Then on our girls' side, we don't stop. We reloading.
No, I'll bet. Well, you got a good lady principal over there. That's Verinda Strauder.
Yeah, she's very supportive
she's
of us.
super.
We earned her respect, and we understand. We all first and foremost, we all about academics. Athletics is easy.
Number 1.
Now we giving our student athletes a chance to see something better outside the city of Detroit.
And the more exposure they get, the better.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, Renaissance. Yeah, I'm over at, I was at Southeastern year before last, and I'm the poet in residence. I go around to all the high schools, but I have a home school. Southeastern was my home school year before last, and I had a senior class. Couldn't read. Seniors couldn't read. I'm at Frederick Douglass now.
Okay.
And this last year I had juniors, most of them who couldn't read. That's why I'm running for the school board, and I got to get that little word in here, because I am running for the Detroit Public School Board, because I am totally unhappy about the fact that, despite for the past 5 years and more, the reading instruction program was inadequate. It didn't work. They're continuing to do the same thing that they did before, and I call that tantamount to insanity. So that's why I'm running for the school board. But, okay, to get back to some questions that I want to ask you, we are interviewing Darnell Hall, fastest quarter miler to ever come out of the state of Michigan. He did that 30 years ago, and his time is still the fastest. And we would like to see someone come out of Detroit now and break that time. You broke my time. Well, actually, you didn't break my time. It was Dion Hogan that broke my time. But you broke his time. Although Dion, I think he ran a world record 45 flat on a 300-yard track. So actually, 45 flat with a quarter mile that's full 440 yards. What would that be? About 44, 5, 6? Maybe. Well, it's got to be faster. It's got to be faster. So Dion might have been as fast as you.
I mean, just like I could have ran 440. I would have ran 45.
Yeah, you probably would have. You got the right attitude.
Yeah.
I had that attitude too.
No, I would have. I mean,
that's just a fact, right?
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Different generations.
Well, we'll never find out, will we?
No, we won't.
Just like we'll never know whether Joe Louis, could have beaten Muhammad Ali, which of course he wouldn't have, because Muhammad Ali was bigger and faster. But Joe Louis defended the title, 25 times, which no one ever did. But anyway, let me get back to track and not talk about boxing. My father would love to have me talk more about boxing. But that was him, not me. Okay, let me ask you this, and I think I already know the answer to this because you're at Renaissance. But are your Detroit Public Schools Community District runners having any eligibility problems in terms of keeping their report card grades up Who from the Detroit Public School Community District won a state track and field title this past spring? Did anybody win one?
State title?
Yeah, did anyone? Anybody?
Renaissance.
Renaissance.
Yeah, we actually won our first Division One
Okay.
state title since we moved up to Division One.
How about individual titles?
Yes, Kayla Jackson won 100.
How fast?
She went 11-4.
Ooh, well, 11-4 high school kid.
Leah Bird won a 400.
What'd she run?
55
Oh.
flat out of lane one.
Lane one's hard.
And Kayla actually won a 200 as well. We won both sprint relays. We got second in about 4.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Now, how come, I've been going to the board meetings lately, and I have not seen anyone invite your athletes to get honored at a board meeting, and they're state champions. Am I missing something?
Well, they state and national champions. They actually won nationals as well, representing DPSCD and Detroit Renaissance.
So I would presume this coming Tuesday in September, they're going to be invited. Dr. Vitti, are you listening to this show? You're going to be. I send it to him all the time, So
50% of the young ladies that was on the team are now college students.
They already graduated. They're all already out.
And then DPSCD did invite us, but we was representing DPSCD at a national.
Okay, they
track
did. They
meet,
did
yes,
invite
sir.
you. That's good.
They did invite us.
All right.
So I don't want to do that to them.
Well, who
did.
do you have who was a junior?
Madison Shear.
And what'd she do?
She was on the 4x1 relay team.
So she ought to be honored.
Yeah. We still got some.
September.
We still the underclassmen. The 4-5 girls that's left. We still had about 6 of them that contribute to our state title.
Well, they
came back, and Lauren Bickers.
What did she do?
300 hurdles and 800.
Oh boy.
And 4x4. So no, we're sitting in a good place.
All right. Okay. Well, they got to get invited.
Yeah, no problem.
Ms. Merriweather, Dr. Reedy, Claude Tiller, all of you guys, all you honchos. Claude Tiller was a great quarter miler too.
Yeah.
He popped off a relay that still holds the record at Michigan. You know Claude Tiller? Ever meet him?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So,
Go ahead.
so your people that you're training, where can they go from this? Are they headed to the Olympics? Are they?
The young ladies that's going to college now, that's in college starting today. I mean, all 5 of them completed. They're incoming freshmen.
So
To be truthfully, as a former Olympian, they had the potential. 2 of them do. Had the potential to reach that plateau. But I don't coach them to do that.
Okay.
But we put them in great situations. They're in great universities that it will go into we train them to get to that level.
Okay.
It's like when I left Detroit Persian, and then 2 years I was in the Olympics. But y'all put me in the best environment to maximize my talent.
So if they continue to run, they get to college. Like I watch a lot of track and field. That's
Correct.
what my family did. My father was worked for Parks and Rec. And that's what we did. When I was coming up, we had the Detroit Striders. That was a
Correct,
track
yep.
team that
Yep.
we all competed against. But like I see the Diamond League. So can they go to the Diamond League once they're in college, or?
No, they because you up on the NCAA guidelines, so they cannot do the Diamond League
Okay.
unless they want to, give up their rights for their eligibility. If they want to do that,
Because the Diamond League pays. They give them money. Right?
it's a different plateau now.
Okay.
It's way different. It's, then now in college they have the NIL deals, whatever, that you can really market yourself in college. And my suggestion is by being on that plateau before and being in that environment, you just got to make sure that you surround those young ladies with the right people.
Were you too early to take money?
No,
Weren't you? Okay.
no, it's just.
Yeah, I missed out on that. I was way too early.
No,
They gave me free shoes. Adidas gave me free shoes.
no.
Other than that.
You're watching WJZZ Cool TV, live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world.
Thank you for those commercials, Char. And I got to say this, Miss Virginia Starkey, fondly known simply as V, the proprietress of V's Boutique, offers a wide range of fine clothing and accessories for ladies. You can find all sizes of women's fine apparel. All sizes in V's one-stop excellent customer service at V's Boutique that you can't find anywhere else in Detroit anymore. V's is at 16423 East Verner Avenue. 16423.
No? It's Warren. You said Verna.
Oh my gosh. Man, I'm going to go back to bed. I'm sorry, V. Well, Char caught it. 16423 East Warren, and it says it right here. 16423 East Warren Avenue. Right around the corner from the Alger Theater, the old Alger Theater, and right around the corner from one of the few libraries that's still open. And she can be reached at 248-662-6622. 248-662-6622. Okay, we are interviewing the great quarter miler, Darnell Hall, fastest quarter miler ever to come out of the state of Michigan. And Darnell ran under my old WSU relay teammate Alan Tillis at Pershing, who was supposed to call in today, his old coach Al Tillis. I don't know, maybe he fell asleep at the switch or what, but he was going to call in. You know, I ran with him at the Penn Relays back in 1954. But Al Tillis at Pershing, he was supposed to call in. And you broke the quarter mile record held by my quarter miler at Pershing, Tom Outlaw Jones. He was a trip, man. I always had some problem keeping him in line. But Tom Jones, tell us about your high school exploits.
I mean, it was an awesome experience. I didn't participate until my junior year in varsity sports.
Wow.
I needed a break, you know,
Yeah.
youth sports all my,
Yeah.
early career. Then I didn't like losing.
You know, tell me about
And
it.
so when I started growing, and you got to learn how to take defeats, and I didn't understand that. So my father,
I still don't understand.
yeah, my father set me down, and I actually use that now when I'm coaching. I can explain that later, which is a good, coaching tool that I use that helps these kids develop and understand. Because at some point you just gotta. It's okay to lose. Like we walked in here and said, it's you're the second,
You're the
first loser.
Mm-hmm.
And
I would always tell my kids it ain't okay to lose.
well, to me right now in the coaching aspect, that's the wrong thing to tell us. Like if you would have really trained me now, like who was second to Jesse Owens? That's a trivia question, right?
I can tell
it was
you
an American.
I can tell you who was second.
It was an American. He was a black American.
Yeah.
Correct, but don't nobody know that name.
His name was Zach Robinson.
Yeah.
The
Well,
200.
why don't nobody speak of Mr. Robinson? Don't nobody know Mr. Robinson?
He was Jackie Robinson's older brother.
Yeah, but he's a silver medalist.
Yeah, I know.
But how we was raised and how we was taught, if you don't win, you nothing, and that's not right.
No, it's not right.
But
if you get a silver medal in the Nationals or the Olympics, I mean, that's an accomplishment, let's face it. Because I got 3 of them.
So look at it in your generation when Jesse Owens did what he had to do. It's an honor to say, I lost to Jesse Owens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's how we should have been taught. Like, I ran against Michael Johnson, the greatest. Now he's just the greatest U.S. quarter miler because all his records been broken. But if you would have
Only
told
by a couple tenths of a second, though.
but it is what it is. It's broken.
He'd
But
have been right
if
on
you
that.
would have trained me to say it would have been okay to come to second to Michael Johnson, that's an honor. I can say that right now.
Yeah.
As one of my old teammates. I mean, it was an honor watching him run.
Yeah.
But I could have been rich at the same time because I could have demanded not the same money Mike was getting. We just talked about money, early doing the Diamond Leagues and that. But my tier would have been right there because I would have beat everyone else. But I'm the second fastest to the greatest quarter mile at the time.
Yeah.
So why we always teaching is win or go home? No, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Like now you have Usain Bolt. Who was second to Usain Bolt? It's a lot of them, but they was having fun.
Yeah.
And it's just more than not by the same boat. You still can name the people up under them.
I never had fun, Darnell, unless I won. And I'm going to tell you something, too. Because there was a great quarter miler who was just a kid and I didn't know. I ran against him in the North American Championships in Waterloo, Ontario, in 1959. I was a heavy favorite, and he beat me. I ran 48. which is a couple of seconds slower than my best. I was making a comeback. I was 23 years old. Maybe I wasn't a comeback. I was 23 anyway. That did not make me happy. In fact, I took a girl up there with me, and I gave her the silver medal. I didn't care about the damn silver medal. I could tell you a little bit about that, too, but I don't think I ever called her again because of something we did before the meet that she taught me into doing.
Oh, okay. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, right, yeah. But, so he came down to Ann Arbor then and raced me again at Yost Fieldhouse over 600 yards. And I said, oh, man, he ain't going to beat me again. He did. 2. It's only time I think I ever lost twice in a row to the same runner. So I went up to London and raced him in his championship and took his trophy away from him with a 47 something. But the point here is, and that brings me back to my school board race, because I have also run for the school board now 2 times and lost 2 times, and I'm running for a 3rd time. So I'm saying to myself, will history repeat itself? Will I get on the school board? Now, I don't have a lot of money for the school board, and I know a lot of the incumbents people are paying big money to get them back on. But I'm going to give it another try because these kids can't read. And again, we're getting off the topic of track. But in many ways, it's not off the topic of track. Track is a wonderful thing. Sport is a wonderful thing. Football, basketball, all the athletes that we have coming out of Detroit, that's wonderful. But if they can't read, what good is it? We have got to make sure that these kids know how to read when they come out of high school, because right now they're not doing that. And I'm getting a little bit overwrought like I did at the school board meeting. But okay, let's see. Okay, let me ask you this: how training methods? Now, I don't think my training methods were the way yours were. I doubt they were. But how have training methods changed since I wrote the 1965 and 1971 quarter-miling history and training technique book for Track and Field News? The title of that book was The Longest Dash, a running commentary on the quarter mile. What are some good workouts for quarter milers?
Today, it's a difference. The kids have more modern technology.
I'm not talking about the technology they got.
That's
I'm talking
part,
about
that's part of training.
Okay, but talk about the theory.
That's part of training. It's
Okay.
it's different. It's a different avenue. It's race pace. Like when you talking about how you ran back in the day,
Yeah.
and you trying to wait to the home stretch.
Mm-hmm.
If you do that today, you still be waiting.
That's right. That's right. Well,
you'll
actually, in those days, you took about a 3-step coast, and
It's more, but now it's more faster, intense. I ran that pace 30 years ago.
okay.
I started at Quincy Watts. I was the second trendsetter.
Remember
Started
Quincy
that.
Watts?
That means our first 200 is more faster than our last 200.
Didn't Quincy Watts maybe come out of Detroit?
He's born in Detroit.
I thought
Yep.
so. Yeah. Yeah.
So the race pace is more. It's not a balanced race no more. It's more faster. I got to get you out of your game plan.
Yeah. Well, you know what my game plan was? I had a great coach, David L. Holmes.
Mhm.
He's the guy that coached Bob Wingo, was the first guy under 48, and John Lewis, the first guy under 49, and me, first guy under 46. He was a great coach. And his theory, not that he didn't have us do over distance. I did a lot of 660s, running 120, 121, 660s in practice, which I hated, But what he had us do, he would have us run a 330-yard dash in 34 something, and then walk maybe 110 yards and do it again. And then he had us do it again. And then he had us do it again. And he had us do it 4 or 5 times. So we got to the point where we're running that 46-second or less pace for 330 yards. So when we got into a quarter-mile race and we're at the 300-meter mark or the 330-yard mark in 34 seconds, we only got 110 yards to go, and we can gut that out. Was that good philosophy for a quarter mile, or has it
It's
changed?
good for you, for your generation.
Well, okay.
Right now, you might as well do it. That's 800 pace.
800 pace?
Yeah, that's 800 workout.
I didn't know they were running the 800 and 130.
800 is not a deal. Middle distance no more.
Oh, it's a sprint, no question about that.
Elite level.
Yeah, but the record's still 140. It's not 130.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we now these quarter milers, they run up tempo, fast tempo pace.
Describe a workout a typical workout, your best workout that you took?
Mondays and Fridays.
Yeah, but
Monday
how
was
far did you run?
mine
How
was-
fast did you run? How often did you run the pace? How
my
many
workout
times?
was different than the average Guatemalan.
Okay.
When I ran 44.3
Yeah.
and I ran
You hear
5,
that, folks? 44.3,
and I ran
400 meters.
and I ran it 2 or 3 times in that 1 year, and I ran under 45 seconds, like about 6, 7 times. The longest distance I ran was a 350.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the longest distance I ever trained.
You trained at 350.
That's as high as I went. I didn't go at 550.
You trained at 350, and when you were training at 350, how fast were you running the 350s?
I was rolling. I was
35 seconds, 36 seconds? No.
32.
That 32?
Yeah, I was gas to the
32 for 350 yards?
damn near race pace. Everything was race pace.
That ain't race pace. That's world record.
Yeah.
Under world
It was
record
race
pace.
pace. That was my race strategy. I was very intense getting out.
Well,
When the gun go off, I had to pick you up in 3 steps.
all right. You know, can you help get the powers that be in any way to get them to build this damn track over at Chandler Park? Because
Well, I mean,
we
what-
need it real bad.
What we need to do is to get the right people involved. To when it comes to doing that, like it's more than just building a complex. We need to bring events here. We need to put the right people involved. You don't just need to have people around that just don't have the best interest of the sport. You know, so
Yeah.
you got to have I don't want to toot my horn or my wife horn or,
No, toot it. Toot
or
your
what
horn.
we've been doing, but we run professional meets,
Yeah,
world-class indoor meets in the country. We are national meet directors
yeah.
for the largest youth indoor meets, in March in Virginia Beach.
Yeah, in Virginia Beach. Well, let's do it in Detroit.
Yeah.
Let's get it over at Chandler Park. Are you hearing this, City Council? Are you hearing this, Council President Mary Sheffield? Are you hearing this, Mayor Duggan? Are you hearing this, Council Person Letitia Johnson, over in District 4? I hope that you are hearing this, because this is what we need for the kids. The kids, remember them? We've got to do this for the kids.
We need to
Okay.
get some of them here to talk to them personally.
Yes, they're welcome.
Yeah.
You want to bring anybody on this show?
To me, that's just the awareness. Like, we've been hosting track meets at Renaissance for the last 6, 7 years in the summer. That's been statewide. To qualify to go to the Junior Olympics, we have over 1,700 kids that's from the state of Michigan coming to Detroit Renaissance, and no one knows that event is there for a 3-4 day weekend. No issues, no security problems. Everything is secure. Everything's professionally ran.
And that's not just for Detroit kids.
No,
that's
it's for the city kids, and it's been well ran by Detroiters, DPS alums, and it just now, it's like the awareness. Like, I have this my shirt Track Life University on. It's like now it's time to talk about what's been going on and transpire. Like, when you have me here, it's an honor to say, okay, I'm still the fastest quarter miler.
Yeah.
But then I'm also gonna say, well, I just saw this kid just run. Then I just saw our children excel and full scholarships to University of Texas A&M, University of Georgia, University of Louisville, University of Houston, then Alabama State. So it is time. Some of us, and like myself, don't need to sit back and just be like, okay, because for me, it's all about the children. I got the rings on my shoulder, and I'm celebrating 30 years. Just probably last 2 or 3 weeks ago, we won that gold medal in Barcelona, Spain. But it's time to, put the right people in place. It's time to talk about it and embrace what you guys have brought myself here to do, to talk about, not only just track and field, how we changing lives and stuff in the city of Detroit and Southeast Michigan, and getting these kids a chance to see more, especially coming off of COVID. I see you real passionate about, the reading part
We got to.
and doing what you got to do. But in my mindset, I know after COVID, I had to change my life. How we going to restart? What's the new trend? Because, when COVID hit, we had parents. We had people do stuff they didn't want to do. We had people they had to be parents, they didn't know what that was. So we all need to make a change. So let's go to commercial.
You're watching WJZZ Cool TV, live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Like us, follow us, share us, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching WJZZ TV, the coolest station in the world. And also, the Senior Expo and Health Fair is Saturday, August 27th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. There'll be live entertainment. There'll be organizations there to help you get things situated. They'll have door prizes, giveaways, photo booth, Hustle with Fast Freddy. It's at Ernest T. Ford Recreation Center at 10 Pitkin Street in Highland Park, and it's a free event.
Thank you, Char J, for those commercials. Okay, folks, citywide, countywide, statewide, nationwide, and worldwide, if we could. Everybody has got to vote Democratic. I don't care what you voted before. I don't care if you voted Republican. There aren't any Republicans anymore. They're Retrumplicans, and they're fascists, and they're Nazis, and we've got to save our democracy. So spread the word. Everybody has got to vote straight Democratic. And we are interviewing Darnell Hall, great quarter-miler Darnell Hall, on the John Telford Detroit Show on WJZZ, Internet Television, this morning. And in the 1950s, I go way back to the 1950s, my top 10 rivals were Villanova's Charlie Jenkins, California's Mike Larrabee, Ohio State University's Mal Whitfield and Glenn Davis. Mal Whitfield, by the way, was the father of Frederica Whitfield, who's a sportscaster or newscaster, and Morgan State's Bob McMurray, the New York Pioneer Club guy, Reggie Pierman, who beat me once in the National AAU, caught me from behind, and Canada's Bill Crothers, the Canadian champion, and Jamaica's George Roden, and Italy's Giovanni Scavo and Livio Berruti. These were the toughest guys that I ever raced. So, Darnell, who would you rate as the greatest quarter miler of all time? Other than you, because he thinks
Here
he is
nationally or what? Nationally?
the whole world.
It'd always be Michael Johnson.
You say Michael Johnson,
Yeah, hands down. I don't care if he's gonna have a world record or not. It's Michael Johnson.
greatest quarter miler of all time.
Yeah, numbers don't lie. Yes.
The man who never ran the open quarter mile more than a couple of times.
Henry Carr.
Yeah,
I heard of that.
yeah.
But see, that's the luxury of listening to you guys.
Yeah,
That's your story.
I know, but let me tell
You
you
know.
a story. I want to tell you a story about Henry Carr. When Henry Carr was just a junior, he took a tenth of a second off Jesse Owens' national high school record. He ran 20.6. That was when he was a junior, before he tied the world record his senior year. So his coach brought him over to me at Southeastern. I was coaching at Southeastern then. I was still not taking money to coach because I was still competing. But he brought him over to me to work with. And I was taking straightaways with this kid. And I had some good kids, really good kids. They were just falling back. And they were just pretty much, there was me and him. And then there was just him because I couldn't keep up with him. We were doing you wouldn't believe some of the times we were running. I said, where did this kid come from? Where did he come from? I can't believe this. I've never seen anything like this. 6 feet 3 3/4 inches, 198 pounds. I look like Secretariat. And I said to myself, oh no, I've never seen it. This is 1960. So, 1960. So I put him in an extra lane because his coach wanted me to race him in a quarter mile. Not me race him, but my kids race him. I put him in a lane in the Eastern versus Southeastern meet. And his block slipped. I told him, well, run to those goalposts over there, and then run almost as fast as you can run as fast as you can to those goalposts, then run almost as fast as you can to those goalposts, and then come back here as fast as you can. And his block slipped, but he did that anyway. He did what I asked him to do. 47 and 8/10 seconds. 47 and 8/10 seconds. Never ran a quarter mile in his life. 47 and 8/10 seconds. So I went down to my old football coach, my old, never could stand the guy. That was Denby, Jim Stout. He was the district athletic director then. This is the year 1960. I had qualified for both the 200 and 400 for the Olympic trials because of my times. And Henry had qualified with his 20.6. 20.6, high school, junior. So I went down. I said, Coach, I want to take Henry Carr with me out to the Nationals. Well, he can't go. Why can't he go? 25-mile radius. Can't compete beyond a 25-mile radius. I said, but he'll be ineligible his senior year if you take him out there. I said, are you going to make the Olympic champion ineligible his senior year? He said, what have you been smoking? This kid's not going to win the Olympics. I said, oh, yes, he is. I have never seen anything like this in my life. You know, I ran against Berruti, Livio Berruti, who did win the 1960 Olympics. I ran against him in Ancona, Italy.
So, you have any final thoughts you want to share with us? Like anything you want to let us know?
Anyway, he never let us go.
I'm sorry.
So Carr won the Olympics, 4 years later.
No, I appreciate the history of track and field in the city. I mean, all those stories were really made me who I am today. Yeah. I use it as motivation. Whenever they didn't have a chance to fulfill their dreams to the highest level, I try to keep it going. But I really feel good that I have to give a lot of kudos to, like, he's a big brother to me. He's a close friend. As far as Detroit pride is Derek Coleman, because myself and Derek, we are one of the true Detroit pioneers that stayed.
You're talking about the basketball player, not the educator.
Yeah, and I mean, he stayed here, stayed home. He wanted to make a difference. Only thing that do hurts that if Derek still stayed down in Syracuse, they'd treat him like Gandhi.
Yeah.
If I stayed back down in Texas where I went to college at, I have the world, especially giving back to the youth.
Where'd you go to college?
Bland College in Texas.
Okay.
Brenham, Texas.
Yeah.
Home of Bluebell ice cream.
Yeah.
But that's the only downfall that I wish that we need to change. We need to have things here in place for Detroit hometown heroes after their, careers or whatever direction it takes them, good, bad, or whatever, that they always have a hand to give back. When things went south for me, I was a PAL kid, a police athletic kid, a Detroit kid.
Where'd you go to school before Pershing?
Farwell.
Okay.
Farwell, Atkinson, Garden areas. But real quick, when things went south for me in my career, the one hand that had me was the police department.
Yeah.
Because I was a PAL kid.
Yeah.
They gave us a little card. You get in trouble, gave us ID. You ever got in trouble, show that card. We're going to show you some tough love, but we're going to take you home. Yeah. Well, in 1999, when I was trying to figure it out, I wanted to still run, but things just didn't go the way I wanted to go and all this and that. Who had their hand on? That was the police department.
Yeah.
And so, with that being said, we got to do more giving back. We got to treat people with the same respect they giving back to these youth. We got to have something in place. We have too many of our athletes that's being more respected in other cities and states than we do here.
Yeah.
You want to read that?
Oh, yeah. I always do this at the end.
Real quick, come on.
All right. The turd that hasn't flushed. That's the real title is Uncivil Warfare. I wrote it on January the 6th, 2021. On this evil and fatal occasion of the Capitol building invasion, the traitor Trump's collusion demands his execution. God yet hasn't pushed the lever on the traitor Trump forever. And when he does, I'm hoping it's the lever of the gas chamber. If we can't do that, let's put that sucker in prison for the rest of his natural thieving life. Thank you for listening.
You've been listening to the John Telford Detroit Show with Dr. John Telford and co-host Charlotte Jones on WJZZ Detroit Internet Television, coming to you live every Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. Also streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Contact Dr. Telford at 313-460-8272. That's 313-460-8272. Or at Dr. John Telford, EDD, at AOL.com. That's DrJohnTelford, at AOL.com. To sponsor or appear on this show, or to get signed copies of his book, which Hugh Perkins, Jeffrey Feiger, and Dr. Wayne Dyer all call spellbinding and sensational. It was the late, great Dr. Wayne Dyer who said, Dr. John Telford has a warrior's heart and a poet's soul. Read Dr. Telford's commentaries on the schools and other